Today, when I was in the train, you saw I made a video of me in the train today. When I was in the train, I scrolled down on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook often, but I just want to check if a fellow believer said something to me or... So I scrolled down and I saw this video. It was about honesty, so-called. So I clicked on it. It was redirected to YouTube. And it was about this black guy. I'm going to call the black guy, of course. He's a Judean. I know his true ethnicity. But this Judean guy said on camera that he prefers blatant racism. When people out of the blue just say that they can't stand certain groups of people. Because then at least you know what you're up to. And in the comment section, there were many people agreeing with him. And I scanned through the comment section. There were many comments, even though the video was relatively new. I want to see if anyone in the comment section looked at the bigger picture. Well, as far as I could see, no one did. I've spoken about this before. Real, true honesty is when someone examines themselves, examine the situation, including the people in the situation, and they take action that's right for everyone's benefit. And that means that if they're wrong, they're wrong. Honesty is not you think a situation and you just blur it out, but you have to find a way to deal with it, and they can't charge you, no blame you because you're honest. If you call that honesty, then anyone can spread out any type of venom they want and say, hey, I'm honest. And that's what the world praises. Look, if there's an autopsy because someone has been stabbed to death, the one who performed the autopsy is not going to make the distinction between an honest attack when someone literally came to your face and stabbed you and backslide. I mean, someone just passed by you and stabbed you covertly. The one doing the autopsy is just going to see that the individual has been stabbed. Whether it was so-called direct and blatant or hidden, is still someone has been stabbed to death. Okay? And if the case goes to the judge is not going to take it when the perpetrator says, well, Your Honor, I know I killed the guy, but I was honest about it. I mean, because I'm honest, I should be praised. Do you seriously think the judge is going to do that? No. The judge is going to say, whether you stab the guy blatantly or covertly, you stab the guy. It's evil. It's wrong. You are going to jail. And in some cases, you will receive the death penalty in some countries. So the Apollonistic governments of this world, even though they're antichrist, they understand that there is no such thing as honest evil. Okay? Evil is evil. Wrong is wrong. Negativity is negativity. Yet, common people out there, they want an excuse for dumping their negative energy. And the excuse to come up with is, I'm blatant about it, I'm honest about it, I'm open about it. Hold on a minute. If someone sends negative energy towards you, and whether they do it openly to your face or they do it behind your back with other people, it's still negative energy. It's still harmful, it's still wrong. It's still an abomination to the Most High. The Most High is going to say, well, at least you were honest about this, so I need to give you credit for that. No! Nobody is getting any credit from the Most High if they are operating in the negative. Nobody. If that blatant, open wickedness would be praised by the Most High, then Satan should be praised, because he's been doing blatant wickedness since the time he fell. Oh yes, he has been doing that openly, even in the presence of the Most High. So if the Most High would praise so-called honesty, so-called blatantness, he should have praised Satan. And he never did, and he never will. So why is it that believers keep praising this so-called blatant behavior that we call honest? No. Look, as a believer, you walk by faith. You walk in peace towards everyone. So of course, you consider others, from time to time you give in to the wishes of others, even if they don't really add up, because of course you want to keep the peace. That's a good thing. But nobody should choose you to dump their waste upon you. Nobody. They shouldn't do it to anyone at all. What I mean is, if someone so-called can't stand you, is them being frustrated in their will. They have an expectation and you don't match that expectation, so now they're upset. Instead of facing their own expectation and dealing with their frustration, they now project it onto you. They can't stand you. Who's carrying the weight? They do. So anytime they see you, that weight is triggered. And who's the one carrying the weight? Who's the one holding on to it? They do. But the world tells them, be honest about it. And then they come to and say, I can't stand you. Could you please leave me alone? Could you stop coming here? I don't want to see her anymore. Now they are projecting onto you, and now they demand you to give in to their will. They don't care about how it's going to affect you. They have their will and just have to find a way to deal with their will. And they have been honest about it. So if you don't honor their boundaries, something bad is going to happen. So they want the right to not only project their negativity onto you, but also to harm you when you don't validate that sick will of theirs. With sick, I don't mean sick in lipstick, but sick in the sense of it's twisted. What does the world tell you? Honor people's boundaries. Don't force yourself on people. No, hold on a minute. The one that persists in the negative is forcing darkness upon you. First, they want the right to have a negative will about you. That's what they do first. Then they want the right to project that negative will onto you, so they don't have to take responsibility. Then, when that negative will begins to weigh on them, they want to dump it on you. And then they want validation from others for dumping it on you. And then they want you to create them against yourself so that they are at ease. And boy, don't hold them accountable, because they'll lash out at you. Listen, nobody has the right to be negative at all. Nobody, nowhere in the universe. Because Christ is Lord. And he says, no. If there are issues, you deal with them in a righteous manner. And look at this. The world gives people the right to be negative as long as they're blatant about it. Look at what happened in the 30s and the Second World War. Actually began in the 20s. Many of the German people were frustrated. Then came this Nazi party, led by Adolf Hitler. And he began to point the finger at the Jews. Now the people were frustrated. So now they began to relieve themselves on the Jews. You had Kristallnacht, that was a night in which, during a riot, many Jewish businesses were smashed to pieces, to say it the best. So hold on a minute, the people had negative charges, they were frustrated, they didn't want to deal with it. So now they had a leader that gave them an outlet for their negative will. So not only now they had a validation for having a negative will, now they wanted to act it out also. And the Jews had to take it. And now they didn't want to hear anything about it. That's how far it goes. And you know what happened later. They began to exterminate not only Jews but many others. It became one big blood bath, is how they say it in British English. I mean, it became one big bloody mess. That's what it became. It all started with people not wanting to examine their own expectations. Not wanting to be real, not wanting the responsibility. Let me tell you about me. If I do something that's not correct, you can call me out on it and should call me out on it. You can expect me to give in to your expectations if your expectations can be accounted for. I'm not sovereign in the sense I can do whatever I want, you just have to take. No, you can't hold me accountable, you can expect things from me. Because I live in a community also, I have responsibilities and obligations towards others. But don't come with expectations that don't add up and you don't even examine them and just expect me to deal with your expectations. No, not going to happen. The world tells you that you need to be respectful, that you need to mind your own business, and you need to respect boundaries. Hold on a minute. So if someone decides to charge me with their negative tension, so I need to back off, give them space so they can relieve themselves at my expense. So what if they demand me to become sick? So I have to become sick too, and just not to violate their expectation, because that would be rude if you violate someone's expectation. What? Look, with me, since I was a kid, it was like this. If you're upset and you're angry at me, you better have a reason why you're upset. Because I'm not going to shrink back and receive the negative tension of yours just because you're upset. Not going to happen. And it kind of surprised me when I was growing up. that you had adults, often in their 30s and 40s, becoming upset with someone that's way younger than they are, and they kind of expect their target to feel their wrath, kind of. And if the target is not affected by it, they become more upset. They are using that young individual like a water pipe. You know, you have those water pipe, those things when they put cannabis in it, they put fire and they begin to smoke it to get high. That's how I saw many adults using younger people. I didn't know what a water pipe was back then, but now that I know, I can compare it to it. They want their relief, they don't want that their responsibility, and they just want to dump it somewhere. With me, even if I was just a kid, I realized, this is wrong. Because I knew in my mind, if I would do that to anyone, they wouldn't take it, so why should I take it? And I'm 27 now, and I can tell you, I can testify onto you, today nobody dares to just have a will towards me that they can't account for. Because they know with me, it's not going to happen. And if you decide to become upset, the charge will be on you. I'm not going to fight you, I'm not going at war with you, because that would mean that I would be drawn into your negativity. I'm not doing that. I don't repay evil with evil, no. But that does not mean that I'm going to make myself vulnerable so that anyone can dump whatever violence they want on me and I just have to take it and they're at ease. No, not going to happen. I'm not going to wish harm on my enemies or anything like that. They're the ones who choose to be enemies of me, not the other way around. They're the ones that chose to have a will that they don't want to account for. So to not have to deal with the frustration, they decide to become the enemy of someone. That's why people become enemies of you, because they want to dump their frustration on you so they don't have to deal with it. With me, nobody dares to demand things from me that they can't account for. Nobody. Neither family, nor parents, nor neighbors. Nobody. Not the government, nor the police. Nobody. And you know of me, I'm not the type of individual that's going out to war. I'm not looking for fights and all of that. I have nothing to prove. I'm not into any of that such behavior. Look, if I unintentionally hurt someone's feelings because I said something that maybe I shouldn't have said, that can happen. Okay, you can call me out on it, and I will repent. But don't just expect things that you can't account for and then expect me to kind of read your mind. And I can't read your mind. So when I don't give in to it, now you're upset. Now I need to look out. Look, that's cowardice. Straight up. And you know what, folks? You know what, believers? We need to stop putting up with violence. Yes, we should walk in peace towards others. We should walk in love towards everyone. Yes, we should do that. But we can't walk in love with everyone. Pray for those that despitefully use you. Pray for your enemies. Love your enemies, all of that. That's your attitude towards others. That does not imply that you allow them to victimize you and to destroy you. No, because you are called to serve the Most High. You're called to be a light unto the world and a salt of the earth. You're called to have an impact on the earth for Christ's behalf. On Christ's behalf, I mean. So if you are here to do God's will, that means you ought to be in a healthy state to do God's will. That's God's will also. You're in a healthy state to do His will. And that does not include you being the downside of other people's violence. Look, turning your other cheek simply means that you examine the situation to get yourself and the perpetrator out of the situation when no one is harmed. So you consider everyone's well-being and you make sure you exit the situation. Or if possible, that situation ends. That's what it means to turn your other cheek. Turning your other cheek does not mean that you literally allow the other to have his or her way no matter what. Look, I'm not teaching you to stand up for yourself and to defend yourself. Those are worldly coping mechanisms. I'm telling you to overrule evil with good. That means you need to address evil, not to fight the evil or to repay evil with evil, but to overrule it. You need to learn to overrule evil with good. And that begins with not giving people the right to will whatever they will, because they don't have that right. I mean, with me it works like this. I've made that video about you decreeing safety on your own living place, or on your own dwelling place. I walk in the protection. So if someone kind of can't stand me or whatever, or they bring the project upon me, I'm not going after them. I'm not going to be evil or anything like that. But don't expect me to stop going to a mall because you are there. Often come there also. Don't expect me to resign from my office just because you. No, don't expect any of such BS. Don't even expect me to limit myself just so you can vent your rage. No. You need to look for help. You need to look for deliverance, and not use others as a water pipe to relieve yourself at their expense. And here's the thing, with me it can go much further. If I am under constant psychic violence, psychic energies keep being thrown at me, I'll reverse it, I'll return it back to their senders. And there, wherever you are in your house, in your so-called private life, you will face repercussions. And those repercussions will only stop when you comply with justice. No compliance with justice, no amnesty. If believers worldwide would have this attitude, much of the violence that's in the world will stop immediately. I'm not saying it's the believers' fault there's so much violence in the world. Absolutely not. Because the world refuses to follow Christ. However, much of the violence would stop immediately if believers would walk in their God-given power. And that God-given power will only manifest when you agree with Christ, because it's only by agreeing with Christ you can walk in the power of the Holy Spirit. If more believers would walk by faith instead of holding on to church, much violence would stop just like that. Because look, if you follow the world with its free will doctrine, with its privacy doctrine, with its boundaries doctrine, and you give people the right to will the negative and whatever, then you are limiting yourself and you make yourself vulnerable to be attacked and limited. They that were such negative want to transfer their fright or their fear onto you, so they are at ease. That's what they want. That's their will, and they don't care about you, either affection or others. They just will it, and you just have to take it. So they enforce wickedness. They enforce evil. But they tell you, respect people's will, respect people's privacy, respect people's wishes. Don't force yourself upon. Don't force people. Oh, but they can force you to be limited. They can force sickness, diseases, spells, hexes, and curses upon you, and you have to just be nice and civil. And no. Believer, walk in your God-given power. Therefore, agree with Christ. I'm not telling you to become the enemy of those people that target you. No, because we walk in love towards everyone, but we can't walk in love with everyone. And here's the thing, you matter. You're here to do God's will. That implies you deserve safety. So anything that frustrates your safety needs to be dealt with. How are you going to be a blessing unto your neighbors if you are the victim all the time of psychic violence? If you are haunted by poverty, sickness, and all kinds of heaviness, how can you be a blessing to others in such a state? You can't. Well, that's it for now. Agree with Christ and be at peace.